Hello and welcome to Just Ride Bikes, and possibly the most interesting and exciting road bike launched in 2025, the all-new revamped Boardman SLR, because it's a race bike in terms of the geometry, the carbon fibre frame that's been shaped in a wind tunnel, but it then has space for wide tyres and it will take mudguards too. And there aren't many race bikes as versatile as that. And then it's also good value for money too. This model here costs just over £3,000 with carbon fibre everything and SRAM's third tier electronic wireless group set. And over the last few months I've been testing not just this bike here in all its colourful glory, but also an Ultegra Di2 equipped model with a set of mudguards fitted to really demonstrate how versatile this bike is. On one hand, a nice comfy winter training bike or long distance cruising machine, or a pure race bike for smashing KOMs and doing a local crit series at the weekend. So fast, versatile and great value for money, lots to like. And in today's video I'll review both bikes and tell you what they're like to live with, go through some pros and cons, talk about the ride, quality and handling, and how it compares to other bikes you might also consider in its price range and for this type of bike you might be looking for. So let's dive in and take a closer look. The Boardman SLR was fully updated this year with a new revised frame that's apparently more aerodynamic than the old version, and they've tested it in the wind tunnel and they claim it's 5.7 watts more air than the old bike, which is nice to know if you are racing or concerned about how fast a bike is. And it has all the hallmarks of a race bike. That big, chunky, but aero profile down tube, the aero fork blades, the dropped rear stays, which is so common on race bikes these days, that D-shaped seat tube and seat post, internal seat clamp, full internal routing, with, on this limited edition bike, a Vision Metron one-piece carbon handlebar and stem, very snazzy indeed, which all helps it to live up to the SLR name, which I guess stands for super light racing. And this build here is just over 8 kilograms for a size medium with no pedals fitted, and SRAM's brand new third tier rival group set and Boardman's own 50mm deep section carbon wheels and all the other carbon bits as well. But the real ace up this bike's sleeve, and what leads to a tagline on the company website of 4 seasons fast, is both space for 36mm wide tyres and mudguard mounts. So most race bikes have clearance for 32, 33mm wide tyres. And even wider, you're looking at an endurance road bike, which is 38 to 40. And if you want mudguards, there aren't any race bikes with mudguard mounts apart from the Envy Melee, but that frame set costs more than the entire bike here. So yeah, very few road bikes, race bikes should I say, that will take wide tyres and mudguards, which makes the Boardman SLR very, very unique indeed. And I think it makes a lot of sense, because I know there are people who want a race bike for the race bike handling and the fit, but want wider tyres for comfort and the option to fit mudguards or fenders if they want for riding through the winter, and not have the concessions of an endurance bike with the higher stack and a shorter reach and the longer wheelbase and the slowed down handling compared to the nippy handling of a race bike. And I think it shows that Boardman really have their finger on the pulse of what quite a few cyclists actually want from a road bike these days. And then the value for money has always been a USP of Boardman, and the bike here costs just over £3,000. The range actually starts from £1,400 for a carbon frame, and the same SLR carbon frame across the range, apart from the change in the carbon layup depending on how high or low in the range you go. There are also alloy versions as well. And then the Ultegra Di2 equipped model I've been testing is £3,500, and that is really good value for money as well, because Ultegra Di2 equipped bikes these days can easily cost £5,000 or £6,000. So 2 bikes, the same frame and different builds, and both offering exceptional value for money. And to put that price in perspective, it undercuts the usual value for money focused brands like Canyon and Giant. And a Giant TCR Advanced with the SRAM rival group set is about £3,400. So it's cheaper than one of the best value brands you can buy out there right now. although stock of Boardman bikes is more limited than what Giant is able to offer. And if you're feeling flush and want to spend a bit more money, then the top of the range SLR with the latest, greatest SRAM Red Accent group set costs £5,500. And for comparison, a Specialized Tarmac SL8 is over £11,000 for a similar build, which is just staggering. I have no idea how Boardman are doing it. I have no idea what magic they're putting off there at all. Just eye-watering. Okay, let's go for a spin and see what's what. And starting with the brightly coloured limited edition bike, I've been riding it for a few months now, and I do like how it rides. It does feel like a race bike and does live up to the SLR name. It's pointy and sharp through the corners, and the fit and geometry does feel like a race bike, like a Tarmac or a TCR. Quite a low stack and a long reach, and it feels good. I've got a nice stretch to the hood, not too cramped, but not overly stretched either. I'm on a size medium, but at 181 centimeters tall, I could ride a large, so kind of between sizes really, but I've been quite happy on the medium. I often go for a smaller frame and a longer stem instead of a bigger frame and a shorter stem, so just a note on sizing there. But yeah, the bike fits well and it does handle like a race bike, and it does live up to the SLR name. Not a super lightweight at 8.2 kilos. There is scope to go lighter, I guess, but yeah, par for course for a bike costing a tickle over £3,000. And it does ride really well. It climbs well, it descends well, it corners well. The only downside for me I've discovered after riding it for the last few months is the ride quality is definitely firm for a race bike. I've got 30mm wide tyres, and that definitely helps at low pressures, but not the smoothest riding bike, not the most refined riding bike. And a part of that is down to the big oversized seat post, which is much bigger than the skinny seat post on modern race bikes, and it does lead to a slightly edgier ride on rougher roads where the tarmac is coarse and broken. So it does seem a shame they didn't spec a skinnier seat post just to give a bit more comfort in the saddle, because bikes like the TCR and the Tarmac do have a decent amount of flex through the seat post, which you can feel in the saddle flexing back and forth. Not as dramatic as a Trek Domani or the Canyon Enduro perhaps, but definitely more than a seat post here. So definitely a slightly firmer riding race bike. And then to the green Boardman. Same frame, different group set, and a nice set of mud guards. And for the last 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks, I've been riding that bike most weekends when it's been raining, because it's winter here in the UK. It's freezing cold today, but we have forecast of rain at the weekend, and mud guards, they make a lot of sense. Yes, clip-on mud guards work really well, but not as good as proper mud guards that are attached to the frame. No rattles, no squeaks. And to have a race bike, to go from that wildly coloured limited edition race bike to a version with mud guards, with the same handling, that same sense of speed and performance, but with the practical benefits of mud guards, it's just amazing. The bike retains all the fun of the race bike, but you're not getting covered in crap from road spray and muck on the roads. And with a bigger tyre, you have even more comfort and more traction as well when the roads are a bit slippery or icy. So I've been impressed riding both bikes in 2 different trims, different builds, aimed at different people, and really showcasing the versatility of the platform. And it is really nice to get high quality branded components at the price. And the Vision Metron handlebar, I guess the star of the show, quite a odd shape. It sweeps forward from the stem wildly to the hoods. There isn't much bar tape on the top, but they're quite slim, so you can use them for climbing when you're cruising along, but just a bit of bar tape on the hoods and the drops. But these new SRAM Rival hoods are so ergonomic, such a nice place to have your hands wrapped around. You spend all your time on the hoods really, and a little bit of time in the drops. But the downside with this handlebar is, unlike on the Ultegra model, you can't swap the stem for a longer or shorter one if you need. So you're kind of tied into this stem length and width. Luckily, it just about works for me, although personally, I would prefer a slightly longer stem, but I've made it work over the last few months. It's not been a deal breaker for me, but it might be for you. But that's the general downside to one-piece carbon handlebars on modern bikes these days. Right, time for my verdict on a brand new Boardman SLR. A bike to rush out and buy, or one to avoid and buy something else. You won't find many or any road race bikes as versatile as this one here, and it does ride very well. So a bike I can recommend if you're in the market for a road race bike with the option to fit wide tyres and mud guards, and you want the best value for money you can possibly get, which I think we all do these days. So yeah, there we go, the Boardman SLR. I'll put links to the company website down below if you want to find out more and see if you've got a stock, which they may have if you're lucky. And let me know what you think of the bike and a review by dropping a comment down below. And if you see a review of the Giant TCR Advance to see how that compares, then watch that video right up there. But that is all from a very chilly Cotswolds. I'll see you all again very soon. Thank you so much for watching.